Hey, if you're a business owner, speaker, author, coach, here is one of the singular, most powerful mindset shifts you could ever implement. It is proven, and this one truly can be applied right away. Once you get it, things will start to change quickly for your business for the better. Check this out.
This is one of the real keys that separates the owners who scale and have momentum and are doing amazing things in their businesses from the ones who stall, burn out, and feel stuck and are often doing $100 tasks in a $10 million opportunity world.
I'm talking about what's called a growth mindset. And in this video, I'm going to show you how to attain it, how to lock it in, and then how to amplify it and take it to the max.
In this video, I'm going to show you how to attain a growth mindset and how to strengthen it all the time, every day as you move through time. And I'm going to show you how to maximize it and unlock a faster growth in your business, your leadership, and your personal productivity using this unique way of moving through the world. So let's get to it.
The term growth mindset was coined by Dr. Carol Dweck, and it's essentially the belief that your abilities, your intelligence, and your performance level are not fixed. And it's contrasted with the fixed or static mindset. And it's one of the most profound differences when you look at entrepreneurs that are really successful and have all kinds of opportunities and those that crash and burn.
But in business, I define it even more sharply. A growth mindset means you believe you can upgrade your capacity for leadership, for revenue, for problem solving, creativity, and delegation. Deep down, you believe truly that you can upgrade these things and improve them, and that your potential is in many ways unlimited, and you can believe this and feel this at will. It's not just positive thinking, it's a mental operating system that sees challenges as growth opportunities, as growth reps, and sees feedback instead of avoiding it. In fact, it sees feedback as phenomenal opportunities. This is a completely different response mechanism that happens as you move through the world, and it happens automatically. That's the awesome thing about it. It does what positive thinking can never do because it gets wired in. You pursue mastery over ego because the static mindset, which is the opposite of a growth mindset, is all about defending the ego, and it stays in the game long enough to win. It gives you a kind of tenacity and stick-to-itiveness that is so necessary for us entrepreneurs.
There are 3 stages to mastering a growth mindset for your business. Here they are.
Before I get into the specifics here in this video on how to begin moving through the world with this amazing mindset that top entrepreneurs embody, and I will emphasize the most successful entrepreneurs long-term embody, I first want to say a few words about the static mindset. That's the opposite of the growth mindset. The static mindset is easy to recognize. It's all about defending itself. It's easily threatened. And because of that, it just can't get into the place where it can utilize input, feedback. It's locked in to a defensive standpoint. And it is more limiting than I could ever put into words. In fact, Carol Dweck's book emphasizes and contrasts these two mindsets very clearly. She gives examples of corporate executives. I won't name them here, but I mean, there are some big names on this list, and how they just ruined entire companies, big public companies, because they were so about defending their own ego and position. The classic defensive, insecure, unstable mindset. It is the opposite of the growth mindset. And it's important to be able to recognize and contrast the two. Here's level one on how to attain the growth mindset. Deep down, you have to decide. In other words, you have to have a belief, which is a feeling of certainty. A conviction is even better, that you are not done growing, that you're upgrading who you are right now, today, as a leader, as a manager, right? Not just what you do, but who you are. And that you can do this now, today, and it's all about learning, developing, growing, and using everything life gives you in amazing ways to move forward, to develop yourself. In neurolinguistics, we have a concept from Ericksonian work called utilization. And the great master hypnotist Erickson was famous for utilization. In the middle of a hypnotic induction, he was a doctor and a therapist. A train would go by and he would say things like, the sound of the train automatically unlocks new wonderful resources for you to use. And when you think about that, it's amazing. 99 out of 100 people doing that kind of work would have said, oh, whoops, well, just ignore that. No. He utilized everything around him, so much so that when the creators of NLP, Neuro-Linguistic Program, went to model Erickson and listened to his tapes and his sessions, because he was such a grand master, people came from all over the world to be in the room with Erickson, Dr. Milton H. Erickson. They named this thing utilization because it was so phenomenal that he just used absolutely everything in ways that normal mortal people do not. Do you get the idea? I want you to build in utilization into your growth mindset, meditate on this, and take it to the max. I have helped business owners and entrepreneurs install this in themselves, and it is a personality quantum leap. They start becoming 10x, 20x more resourceful, just like that. Let me say it again. Utilization, that's the magic word, and it's inherent in the growth mindset. Anyone who has it is doing this. Level 2 for developing this extraordinary mindset is essentially to have some ways to strengthen it on a regular basis. Now, I do a lot of conditioning and what we call programming and positive mental attitude and conditioning and setting up new patterns. So what I want to say here is that the key and the secret is to build some daily rituals that train your mind to see possibilities instead of problems. And in fact, problems become opportunities. That is in fact the heart of the true Kaizen when it's installed in organizations. Kaizen's not just improvement or incremental improvement. Kaizen is not really an evidence until the people in a company are out looking for problems, actively searching for them, because they literally believe every problem is a phenomenal opportunity. How many people in your company are doing that? So that's what Kaizen really is. So let me just say quickly, in a little bit here in this video, I'm going to give you a whole list of phenomenal habits that you can start building into your daily and weekly routine. But for right now, as level 2 and a go-to action step, what I recommend is that you set up a 30, 60, 90-day burn. I do this in all my coaching programs with my clients. In other words, schedule on your daily morning ritual with your coffee somewhere in there. Put on your calendar that you do something with your growth mindset. This is not going to change overnight with a couple little thoughts or a little casual thing. This is the kind of thing like you got to wire this into your neurology. And by the way, it's easier than you think, but you got to do it for 30, 60, 90 days. You got to do something every day, condition your subconscious to do it. And what happens is little by little, you literally shift how you're showing up in the world. It's a simple solution, a simple action step, but it makes magic happen when it comes to changing yourself. So level 2, strengthening your growth mindset, is about deciding you're going to do this for a few months and really do something every day. Schedule it on your calendar, and it just takes literally less than a minute or two. You can do more than that, but you commit to doing something every day. That's the go-to solution for changing your personality, because that's what we're talking about here. You're a different person when you embody this mindset at higher and higher levels. So right now, if you want to do an action step, pause the video. I'm very big on action and massive action focused. Decide you're going to do this. Don't just watch this video. I'm challenging you here. You're an entrepreneur or business owner, maybe a coach, an author, a speaker, whatever, but you know about action. So I want to challenge you right here at level 2. Schedule it on your calendar. Decide how many days you're going to do this. Keep track. It's one of those things, it takes less than a minute. And I want to repeat, if you do a morning routine, which I highly recommend, and I teach all kinds of ways to do that and put it on steroids for entrepreneurs. So the morning routine is really, really important. So I recommend burning this into your morning routine and just add it to your list of things. Don't have too many things in your morning routine, but when it comes to the habits, I'll give you a few in just a minute here, but this is about setting yourself up to win. Level 3 is to maximize it. First, level 1 was about attaining a growth mindset. Know how to invoke it. Level 2 is to strengthen it. Well, level 3 is to take it to the max. So here are some insights for level 3. First, apply the growth mindset strategically to a handful of things that are essential for entrepreneurial, small business to large business success. Here are some to consider. Number 1, strategy. Number 2, sales. Number 3, team development. Number 4, because it's so important as a leader, delegating. Number 5, systems. And number 6, your own energy. And into number 7, your own personal development as a leader, right? As an entrepreneur, developing your own map of the world, your identity and self-belief, all of that. You can literally apply the growth mindset to that. It is an amplifier like all of these others. So in summary here, to maximize your growth mindset, the secret is to focus your growth mindset on a handful of these key initiatives, or we might even say capabilities that are essential for entrepreneurial success and to get your business thriving into the next level and for breakthroughs. Again, don't just cultivate a growth mindset. I'm specifically saying, having helped numerous people do this, that's not enough. You need to zero it in on 3 to 7 core skills, and this next section of habits will help you do that.
Here are 5 really effective habits that you can begin forming, and they will start to activate and stabilize the growth mindset so that you embody it on a daily and weekly basis in your business.
Number 1, start with yet. Begin using the word yet a lot more. It is a transformational language superpower. Let me give you an example. Don't say, I'm not good at managing people. Even if you feel that way, say, I haven't mastered the management of people yet. I'm not as good at managing people as I'd like to be yet, right? I'm not the kind of manager I want to be yet. This literally shifts time, possibility, and so much more. So start with the word yet and have some fun with it. Number 2 is to chase discomfort daily. Every growth-minded owner I have ever seen and modeled has one thing in common, the same thing in common. They lean into discomfort. This means you have to make the call you've been avoiding, delegate something even though it feels a little uncomfortable, film that video, and, get the growth into motion. If you know a little bit about my work, I'm a behavioral modeler and a professional at it. And one of the groups I've modeled in recent years are Navy SEALs. And the reason is they're so extraordinary in self-control and self-discipline and so many things. And I often say that if you lined up let's say 1,000 Navy SEALs, every one of those 1,000 people, those SEALs, would challenge themselves every day to be uncomfortable and just go for it. It's built into their mentality. In fact, somewhere in the SEALs training, there's a go-to mantra that says, get comfortable being uncomfortable. Well, of course, we know those guys are underwater in all kinds of temperatures and doing amazing things. That's not what we're trying to do here. Don't get your scuba gear out yet. But you understand, it is such a key for success. So here's some quick tips for this essential trait and how to build it into your your personality. Pick out some things that make you uncomfortable and look at them from a meta distance, meaning notice your response to them and go, whoop, that makes me uncomfortable. I'm avoiding this. I'm not really doing that. Make a list. What am I pretending not to see? What am I avoiding? And just make the list honestly, reflecting, and without any condemnation or judgment on yourself. This is important. Just make a list and be objective and then set it aside. Don't do anything with it. Change states and go back into a normal, resourceful state. Then go back to your list and be in a resourceful state, create it, and enter into that growth mindset and start picking them off one by one. Number 3 is to ask specific types of questions. This one's very dear to my heart because many, many years ago, I became a certified master practitioner in NLP after 2 years of training. And then I went into behavioral modeling with it. And for about 20 of the 30 years I've been doing that, I certified people in neurolinguistics as practitioners and master practitioners with 6-month-long trainings. Well, I would never certify someone as a master practitioner until they were asking outrageous, difficult, weird, stupid, unbelievable questions. If you can't do that, you're not a master practitioner in NLP. Straight up. Stop and think about it. So questioning is huge. For the growth mindset, here are some of the specific types of questions to start asking yourself. Instead of, why is this happening? Always ask, what's the lesson? This means you presuppose that there's a lesson here. The only question is, where is it? Where's the hidden opportunity? I love to insert the word hidden in that sentence, not just where's the opportunity, where's the hidden opportunity? Because we all kind of like to find secret things, right? Who do I need to become to solve this? This is one of the best identity questions you could ever ask. Who do I need to become to solve this? What skills do I need to have? What beliefs do I need to have? Those are feelings of certainty, right? What actions do I need to take? What resources do I need, right? This is the essence of triggering the growth mindset. Ask different questions ongoing until they become wired into your personality and you won't believe. Well, you may just believe because you'll experience what will happen. People on another level are talking to themselves differently. I can tell you that, from years and years of modeling people at the deep down level of their pictures, sounds, feelings, tastes, smells, their beliefs, their comparisons, and all the structure. And oh my goodness, is it evident. When I was hired to model a world-class salesperson outselling everybody in a company years ago, the very first formal modeling project I was hired to do by a company doing, about 100 million a year, the guy I modeled came at sales so differently than anyone else in the company because I interviewed all the salespeople. It was like night and day. And back then I realized, wow, people who are excelling are literally, they're just viewing the world differently. They're asking different questions. These questions become drivers of entirely different searches in your brain. So this is your chance. Write down 5 to 7 questions like the ones I've mentioned that get you to step into and that trigger your growth mindset. If you keep doing these in the morning, add them to your morning ritual, right? As I suggested, one great thing to do in your morning time is ask that set of questions and think of a situation, ask those questions. You can break states, think of another situation, ask those questions. Pretty soon you condition your unconscious mind to trigger these kinds of questions and this kind of searching on any kind of situation. This is called installing the growth mindset, at least on the auditory channel. Number 4 is to track progress, not perfection. If there's one thing you can notice about anyone and everyone who embodies the static mindset, it's that they're all about perfection. And when it's some imaginary perfection is not achieved, they criticize, they condemn, and all these other patterns of self-defense kick in. So when you track progress instead of perfection, it's an entirely different way of moving through the world. Growth is mostly invisible at the beginning stages. Like you start doing things, you go to the gym, you don't really get a lot of results right away. But if you keep going, it doesn't take long before you can actually see changes. Growth is visible when you track it. So end each day by asking, what did I handle better today? than I would have 6 months ago. This is a self-to-self comparison with the criterion of progress. That's its structure. This kind of reflection rewires a new confidence into your neurology. For years, I used to open my trainings, and sometimes still do, with a pattern I called the progress stack. And I used to get people to show up to the trainings when they were driving across town. If they get on time, then they got to be part of the progress stack because it was really fun. And I won't go into the whole thing here, but essentially I wired into them the search and the finding of little tiny chunks of progress. So it's a pattern that I do in my coaching programs. You can begin to do this without all the details just by doing step 4 here. Start tracking progress and do it at the tiny chunk level. What is a little better than it was yesterday? What's a little better now than it was last week? Get more obsessive about your progress and make a big deal about it. Number 5 is to build a growth circle. What that means is this: you're the average of what they say generally is 5 to 7 inputs or people around you. Well, I don't know if that's absolutely true, but certainly the people, content, coaches, and habits, basically the environment you keep around you, has a huge impact on you, more than we often realize. So build a growth circle simply means literally surround yourself okay, with growth-minded people. They're pretty easy to recognize. Listen to their language. So if you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room.
So, I've emphasized the growth mindset, how powerful it is, and that it's one of the big game changers. It's one of the differences you see, like me, when you're a behavioral modeler, when you contrast really successful entrepreneurs and businesses versus those that struggle and strain and eventually kind of flop or just completely fail. This mindset is prevalent in the owners and the key decision makers. So what is it that really happens when you start embodying this mindset? Here are a few of the things you can expect.
Sales increase because you stop fearing rejection. Teams thrive because you give better feedback and you own your growth. You recover from setbacks faster, which is a big deal. And you stop letting perfection delay execution. And you become virtually unstoppable because your identity is tied to learning and momentum, not ego, defending yourself, or even outcomes. Stop and think about this. This is what makes the growth mindset and the people who embody it so powerful. In fact, it is, in my opinion, a superpower. Right now, I want to challenge you to pause the video again here and list 3 or 4 people that you believe embody this mindset. I recommend you pick people on the right and left side of the political aisle if you can do it. I model and coach people, I don't care if they're on the right or the left. There's so much going on in our world today. I like to be like a doctor, my job's just to heal you. So I recommend look at people as in a broad, circumspect selection that you can, and notice how people on the right and the left and anywhere in between, notice people you feel are super powerful, super adaptable. Look at how they're embodying these things I've talked about in the growth mindset.
Remember, your business scales when you do, and your mindset is the lever.
It's the catalyst that you can cultivate, and it makes multiple things happen, which is exactly what the definition of a catalyst is. It's a driver that causes quantum leaps, breakthroughs, and if all you do is get this mindset inside you and embody it, make it natural, not only will you never be the same, but your businesses, whatever you do, will have all new potential.
So here are some quick things you can put into action to begin to embody a growth mindset immediately. I mean, today. Check this out. Here's what I want you to begin doing.
First, pick one of those 5 habits I covered earlier and start using it today. 2, build a new morning routine by adding growth mindset questions and responses into your morning time. 3, watch what shifts in how you think, how you lead, and how you show up. And I really recommend actually keeping a log book. I'm a big believer in keeping a log where you're actually learning from your own experience as the prime directive of the log. Don't just log what's going on. Look at your own experience. And a log is an extraordinary way to do that. Number 4, if you want help rewiring your mindset, building momentum, engineering breakthroughs into your business, and if there's anything stopping you or preventing you or making it harder from getting into the growth mindset and making it a part of who you are, let's talk. This is really my specialty. All the years of modeling at NLP make me an uncommon resource for helping you wire things like this into your neurology, which is in and of itself kind of a strange way to say it, but that's how guys like me talk. We just want to lock it in, make sure it really works for you, make sure it's ecological. So if you need a little help, please reach out to me. I would love to talk to you about building the growth mindset into you and your business. Or if you're a speaker, a coach, author, or consultant, and you want to turn your message into real income and impact, check out one of my specialized coaching programs below. I'll drop a couple of links. You can go look at them and see if there's one that feels right for you. Remember, your next level isn't traffic. It's more at the root cause of traffic, sales, conversion, team, and a whole new level. And that root cause is a mindset. Remember, it's a mindset that's the cause, the root cause, and you can build it.
So click the link below and book a free strategy call with me. Thanks for watching. I'm Alexander Van Buren, and I look forward to linking up with you.